tell them Yahweh has sent you. And then he said, all right, I'm going to tell them Yahweh has sent you. Sent me. So when Moses repeats it, he changes it back to third person. Tell them, he knows it's a verb taken as a noun. And it's, we don't have it in English, a causative verb. We have, in Hebrew and Arabic, there are causatives. We call them fourth form verbs. So in any case, tell them Yahweh, tell them Yahweh has sent you. Okay. So forget all this. This is an attempt to, I guess I have to tell you, there's this tape thing going, so I have to worry that's good. Run out of tape, but let's look at this. How did the people who translated the Bible in the 1600s, this is what I mean, getting everyone on the same level here, come up with the word Jehovah? Did I tell you that? Huh? No. How did they come up with the word Jehovah? I'll get back to the Bible, don't worry. And the history of the Jews, don't worry. We'll get that by the end of the class. We'll finish up that again. Don't worry, don't worry. We're going to go back in a minute. We're just picking up some loose edges. If you're going to read the Bible, you got to know what you're reading. The biggest sin most people make is they don't tell you what you're reading. They just let you try to figure out, and you don't know anything, so you can't know what you're reading. Someone has to give you like the booster rocket so that you can get to do the third stage yourself. You know, those lower stages just fall off and fall to earth. They're not worth anything. But no one's given you that stage yet. So someone has to give you at least a little bit of that so you can then get to the third stage. You can then take off. Crummy image, I know, but poor attempt at poetry. Find another pen here. Okay. I don't know how I got bogged down all this stuff. Jehovah, you've all heard that. We all know that's wrong. That's why they're saying Yahweh. But why is it wrong? Do you know why it's wrong? I mean, it's an innocent mistake. It's not their fault. When the Protestants wanted to get a Bible, they didn't want to go to the Catholic Bible, so they said, look, let's not go to the Catholic Bible. That's how we got the apocryphal books. I told you that last time. Let's go to the Jewish Bible. And so the Jewish Bible had YHWH. But they didn't realize Jews didn't pronounce that. You see, if you know Hebrew, you'll know that it's written like this. That's YHWH. It's written like that. That's written script, not the actual Babylonian character that you have. But they would put the vowels underneath like that in what we call diacritical points. Arabic does the same. It makes Hebrew so frighteningly difficult because most Hebrew texts are unpointed. If you go to Israel and read a newspaper, it doesn't have the diacritical points. It doesn't have the vowels. So you can't read the newspaper without knowing the language first. So that puts you behind the eight ball. Because you have to know what the word sounds like before you can actually sound it out. You have to have a sense of it in your brain. If I see a word like NWSPR, newspaper, but I didn't know the word was newspaper, I might pronounce it all kinds of ways. Knee, woos, PP, I don't know what I would do. The point is that if you don't know the vowels, and you don't know the vowels without knowing the language. Same with Arabic. American English shorthand was developed on Hebrew and Arabic, the prototypes. That's how they got shorthand, what secretaries would take in the old days before we did away with secretaries. But, dictation, now everyone just types everything for themselves and corrects it. But shorthand was based on these languages that didn't have vowels. They didn't have vowels. When were the vowels put in Hebrew? Around the 10th century. So 20 centuries before that, Hebrew had no vowels. So someone in the 10th century thought he knew how these words were pronounced. I don't think he was always right. I don't want to blame a woman for this, you see. So a woman, you see, you say, hey, I'm not involved in that. Some dumb guy did that. Right. Okay, they did the best they could, but I'll take a given name here. What's the Hebrew name for King Solomon? Shlomo. What's the Hebrew name? Most of these kind of words I think are wrong. Well, what's the Hebrew name for Samuel? Shmuel. I don't think so. I don't think there was ever a king who would have called himself Shlomo, frankly. I really don't. That's just an imperfect vowel system that was put in there, you see. And you see, the Arabic knows the language before that. Samuel is Greek, Arabic, and English. That's where we get those words. And Sulaiman, Solomon, that comes down through the Greek, Latin, Vulgate, and through the Arabic Sulaiman and stuff like that. So I think that probably was originally more accurate. Someone was not understanding the grammar when he did the diacritical points and putting diacritical points where he probably shouldn't put them. And those are two obvious examples. That's not all. The Hebrew Bible's not wrong about everything. But I think a few things it may be wrong about. And you have to do a comparative study of words before you finally decide how that word was pronounced 10 centuries before you existed. You can't go on oral tradition always, because oral tradition is very imperfect, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm still on the whole Yod-Heh Vav-Heh thing.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go back to it, if you let me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to show that, Jehovah, that's what I'm going to go back to, that, this is based on the diacritical points. I'm showing you how you can mess the diacritical points up. The point is that, since you want me to go back there, I'm going to go back. What I really should do is answer the question after I've finished the slop that I'm handing out, okay? Because otherwise, I get caught in the middle, and the whole point of it gets, evaporates for any really good sense it might have made. Happy to answer the question at the end. So, in any case, we're talking about how words get messed up in transmission. Well, this is not the case. I was just showing how the vowels were put on late. And I was showing you by the vowels being put on late that words like Shlomo and Shmuel and things like that came into existence that I honestly don't think existed at that time. But that isn't the problem in the Yud-Heh Vav-Heh. That isn't the problem with this. They don't know how to pronounce this anyway, and they admit that. They don't know how to pronounce this. Because it was pronounced by the high priest when? Once a year, Yom Kippur, inner sanctum of the temple, when he had to ask forgiveness on his knees for the sins of